I'm recording this because the survivors no longer envy the dead. The final war is over. Its architects forever entombed in villainous steel. I watch the efforts of our species dance away on the radioactive wind. Civilization retreated by millennia. All of human history brought to dust. Our cities, now scorched black mausoleums, serve as a reminder there can be no victory in war. Earth is the answer to the question of our mortality. With resolute defiance, we choose to grasp at the delicate thread of life. My son, the gift of survival is yours. Please, may you never submit. There will be more.
This is it. We are on our own. The air is clear. Welcome home. We're headed straight for oblivion, but we're gonna make it. Whatever it takes. I just wanna be with you.
Herzlich willkommen zurück auf Schalke America. Here kommt Timo Becker in the house, and it's a victory Monday. Well, he's not in the house here, but it's Victory Monday nonetheless. I'm your host, Richard Carmen. Joining me, as always, co-host Jack Mangan. Happy Victory Monday, sir.
Happy Victory Monday. That would have been quite the Schalke America exclusive if we had landed Timo Becker live on the podcast on Victory Monday to announce his return. But yeah, happy to talk about that tonight and a win on a Victory Monday. Nice to be back.
A win indeed. It wasn't the prettiest of games. We're definitely going to get into that. We'll talk obviously some of the big news of. It wasn't just Timo Becker; it was other news as well. And then we'll give our analysis of how we think Kees van Wanderen is doing thus far. But we'll get to all that. But I think it makes sense that we start off with the news of the day, and that is Timo Becker is back. He is back with us through 2029. He joins us in the summertime. Jack, there was rumors that this was going to happen. But we weren't sure. We were hopeful of it. Obviously, we've heard rumors of ex-players coming back all the time. He's obviously one that loves the club immensely. We talked about how he cried, so much and stuff for relegation and promotion. But thoughts on officially hearing that he's actually signed and he's with the club?
It's hard not to like this one, obviously. I think, I'm sure this goes for pretty much any club, but particularly at Schalke, obviously, we think we have a soft spot for people that, keep us in mind after they go on and depart and do other things, and we're always looking for some of those guys to return at some point. Usually it's maybe higher profile players to some extent, you know what I mean? But look, we're in the second division at the moment. Timo Becker has, since leaving us, has I think improved in his career, obviously, and he's been getting regular minutes, at the top flight level. When we're not, if you have somebody who is potentially willing to voluntarily forego top division football to come back to your team, and give probably some of the best remaining years potentially of their playing career in an attempt to help see this project to its fruition and get us back into the top flight on a permanent level, it's hard to to not be excited about that and walk away from it. So I think it's a great morale boost. Maybe in a moment we could use it around the club too. We're kind of in the doldrums of this inconsistent form and mid-table and not a lot to be excited about. This is some optimism for next year. But yeah, get somebody who's now a little bit more experienced, can be a leader, could come in at a position that's been a trouble spot for us seemingly forever. And we can talk about Gantenbein's performance this past weekend on that front. So yeah, very excited about it. How are you feeling about it?
Do we have to talk about Gantenbein? Way to ruin Jack. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. Obviously, it's free. So how do you not love that? I think no matter what else, it's free. So, we're not spending any money. We can spend money elsewhere. But, I love it. I think we've seen some former Schalke players who've left and not necessarily done better. Like I mentioned on the Saturday stream, Blendi Idrizi, he's without a club right now, right? That's a guy we had high hopes with when he was here, and now he's without a club. But then you got guys like Timo Becker and Fabian Riza who left, and it did well for themselves. Yeah. Timo Becker was captain or co-captain at Holstein Kiel and become a really formidable right back and center back, and so he joins us and is automatically our best defender, from the get go, without any other signings. And he's very versatile. He can play right back, left back, and center back. So I think it'll be extremely useful for us. And if we keep Taylan Bullet, even better, because that'll be more flexibility. But if the rumors are that Taylan Bullet may go with the salary, at least we have a right back coverage, and Gantenbein doesn't have to be there, as you mentioned. Some of the news, obviously, with Timo Becker, signs until June 30th, 2029, so that's excellent. The full intention is to have him as the captain, I would imagine, or co-captain with Keenan Karaman. We'll see how that plays out. I imagine it'd be co-captain or assistant captain or something. What else? He says, the fact that my contract was coming to an end in Kiel and that I have a special connection to Schalke is something that has been mentioned for a few recent weeks. I think it's important to be open about my decision. Now I can fully focus on staying up with Holstein Kiel. So Holstein Kiel has been very respectful of it. Their fans have been very respectful of that and him and his decision. So that's great to see. And then Yuri Mulder saying, we all know wearing the Schalke colors means again, and taking on an important role within our club and team means to Timo. So excellent news on him. And we'll get to some other news regarding some of the off the pitch stuff. But excellent to have Timo Becker back. Kuroro says, "Oh, first of all, shout out to the chat. Kuroro, Joseph, everyone else watching. Shout out to you guys." Kuroro says, "The good thing is that Gantenbeim is suspended for next game." Still wondering what he got that second yellow card though. Idiocracy, stupidity. I don't know.
But I mean, the bullet thing that you brought up, that's a good point. I mean, we're talking about that looking like probably a likelihood that he's gone in the summer. You wouldn't be surprised by that. But, part of the issue that we always have is, okay, maybe we get, $6 million for him or something like that. We're not going to spend $6 million on a replacement, and the person that we're going to spend the money on and bring in isn't going to be as good. And so we were just kind of in this cycle of like never actually improving the squad. And to be able to go out and get, once again, free transfer for him, and he'll slot in presumably and be completely competent is a huge development and helps kind of soften whatever blow we might have from losing Bullet this offseason, and we'll be able to pocket that money entirely and use it for other areas of the squad potentially. So it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited about that move coming in the summer, but we have this current season on their way, and all indications on the press conference before the match. It's funny because they kind of grilled Kees van Wonderen before the match, and Sky Dirk was asking him, "Hey, like, look, presumably Felipe Sanchez after that performance is not going to start in this game." And while Van Wonderen didn't give like a clear answer, it was obvious because he was like, "Well, Kaminsky is the first rated guy over him, and we'll see how it goes." And they were like, "Well, what are you going to do about youngsters? Are you going to start the youngsters? Or are you going to keep the veterans? How are you going to do this down the stretch?" And the one answer I did like that Van Wonderen made was that, look, our magic number is 40. We've talked about it as many times, 40 points. 40 points means we're safe. And once we get there, then we can experiment with the youngsters. But for now, my best 11 is what's going to be until we get to that magic number. So I like hearing that at least. But the game that was against we won 2-1, and we had a red card in the game. As aforementioned, Gantenbeim got a red card, 2 yellows in the game. It wasn't the prettiest games, Jack. First half, it's really bad. I think really bad play for me from Schalke. It was a tale of two halves, and I hate that cliche, but we didn't look good at all. I think we gave Ulm way too much respect, and they just did what they wanted almost, it seemed like. And eventually, in the 40th minute, they did break us down. Nice pass over the top. More of an error on Gantenbeim not being around, as you kind of mentioned. And then Kalash getting embarrassed again. How many times have we seen this where Kalash gets completely embarrassed? Schallenberg leaves his guy alone, and then Barkok isn't back-checking at all or backtracking at all, and then a goal happens. Heckeren could have done better, but what are your thoughts on that first goal?
I think a lot gets made about Kaminsky at times, and rightfully so. I mean, all of us have seen bad performances from Kaminsky, performances where he doesn't look like he's up to snuff, that kind of a thing. But I mean, once again, like, what is Kalash doing on this play? I mean, he is nowhere. He gets beaten on that cutback way too easily. Schallenberg, if that's who I think that is, overruns and like overcommits on that play as well, especially considering that he sees that he has Kalash in front of him kind of guarding that other angle. So you think he would have held up slightly more on that, doesn't. Yeah, I mean, and then Gantenbeim, he's out of position, gets beat over the top. I mean, the entire goal is way too easy. I mean, there's plenty of times where I give other teams credit and like, look, nice ball over the top, but that entire sequence was far too easy. It's terrible defending, and I mean, yeah, those are the kind of plays where I'm like, yeah, there's been a lot of conversation about Sanchez and Kaminsky in the past week, but it's like we have other issues in the back line too. I don't know why there's this kind of conversation about him specifically. So, yeah, Kalash continues to be bewildering at times, I feel like, in terms of trying to establish how talented he is. Yeah, pretty poor first half. Disappointing to concede at the end of it as well. I mean, complete nothing burger. Nowhere near good enough given the opposition. Yeah, I mean, you really wonder when you're watching this game where the form that we had in December was for a bit, when we were able to look competent and look like we belonged against some of the better teams in this division and string a couple of results together in a row, and now we're just in this inconsistent, stretch of pretty mediocre football overall.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. And I think, going back to Kalash, is not the same guy that we saw before. We've seen numerous times this year where he gets beat easily, just as he did there. It's like he just sticks his leg out, wasn't even really trying. And like to your point, like in reality, Schallenberg should have kept on his guy and let Kalash handle it. But maybe in the back of his mind knew that, hey, Kalash is going to get beat here. I need to help out. And then no one's there to take his guy, right? Barkok's not there. Nobody else. Gantabib's not there. And the guy eventually gets the ball and shoots it past Hecarin. And so, like I said, it's calamitous all the way around and not good at all. It was terrible first half. I don't know if I even took a screenshot of the statistics in the first half, but it wasn't particularly good in the first half. I felt we were poor all the way around. Nothing. I didn't feel good, especially when that goal went in. First half shots were 4-0 in favor of Ulm. Shots on goal, off goal. I said three. We had 3 shots off goal, but I mean, like, it was Ulm had way too much of the ball. They were doing whatever the hell they wanted, and so we're down at halftime 1-0. The one thing I wanted to see before the game that ended up happening in the starting lineup, kind of skipped over that, but Silla, Yunus, and Barkok all played really well in the last game. We talked about it, and it's nice to see that they actually got a chance to start this game, but it didn't have the impact that I was hoping for to start the game. And eventually it worked its way out, but it just seemed like maybe it's the presence of, Donkor and Gantenbeim, or I don't know, because Merkin didn't play in this either at the start. So it just didn't seem like the right thing in the first half. But whatever Kees van Wonderen did or said at halftime, it worked. They looked like a different team in the second half, much more attacking, a lot more opportunities. It seemed like the script was almost flipped, with Ulm kind of backing away and Schalke taking chance after chance. And Yunus finally starting to get his rhythm in the game with some of the other players. And then, in the 58th minute, he feeds Karaman in the box, and Karaman tries to, get past the guy, slides it over to Seguin, I assume on purpose, and Seguin puts it away. The one guy we've been ripping on in the last couple of weeks all of a sudden gets a goal, which is nice to see because we don't know if he's going to be back next year. But Seguin bails us out there, or Karaman, or whoever you want to say, and 1-1 just like that.
Hockey assist?
Hockey assist. I like it.
For who?
Yunus. Yunus.
Goal involvements, man. I'm telling you. I know it's not a direct one, but, changed the game immediately last week when he came on, involved in both the goals there. And then I thought had a pretty good second half overall and contributed to that play as well. Great feat from Karaman. We know he has that in tight space, kind of deceptively so at times. And then, Seguin ended up having way more time to get that off than you would have anticipated, given, how much of a danger zone he received that in. But, nice finish. Way to hold off his defender there. Tied up.
Yeah, and then in the 74th minute, we saw Gantenbeim get a silly yellow card. Like, okay, whatever. But then he goes, minutes before the end of the game. Well, before this happened, Merkin had come into the game. Substitutions came in there. We saw Max Gruger come on as well. But Merkin had a really good shot, powerful shot from outside the box, forced the keeper to make a save that he struggled with. So it looked like we're trying to get that winner. And then all of a sudden, Gantenbeim says, "You know what? No, I don't like that." Gets a second yellow for a stupid play, and he's out of the game. And immediately, Jack, I don't know what your thoughts were, but anytime any team has had 10 players, it's always benefited the opposition, never us. We've always done poor when we had a man up or two men up, or if we had a red card we just played worse. And this, I was fearful that we're gonna
finally broke that duck. Yeah, I don't know why that's been the trend, but we finally reversed that.
We finally reversed it, and minutes after, I think minute or two after the red card, we got a set piece, a corner kick, and I don't remember if it was Seguin or Yunus. Ball goes in the box, and we had joked about Kaminsky being the one to save us. It was all this talk about Kaminsky before the game just because how bad Sanchez played, and sure enough, he comes up big and gets a winning header. I don't know how he got the header in, but he got it in, and it's great to see that he got the goal there. 2-1 at the death with a man down. I'll take it. Horrible game, but I'll take it, Jack.
Yeah, look, it's one of those ones where, especially given the red card, you're like, okay, thank God we somehow find a way to get out, 3 points, given the opposition, everything, and it's a home game. At the end of the day, you'll take the 3 points and move on, but bad football game. Bad performance. Second week in a row. Lucky to escape with 3 points in that one. And yeah, I mean, it just doesn't give you much confidence moving forward. We've been looking to kind of, string some results together. At least this is a result, something, but it's not a performance that you're going to be looking to build on really in almost any sense. Like I said, the only thing that I can really take away positive from some of these is like, hey, at least he tried a different shape kind of in terms of the team sheet and got a result from it. So like, hey, there's a little bit of flexibility that you're, a new idea that got put forward, at least something to hold on to there, I guess. And then also, once again, like the reintegration of people like Eunice and whatnot coming up with solid performances. So, yeah, not too much to be overly optimistic about.
No, and I think the game was emblematic of what I saw in the press conference before the game, because I mentioned that the reporters were grilling Van Vonderen, and then the one thing that really grilled him on, and they kept going back at it because he didn't give him a straight answer, was like, Sky Dark started it off and says, "This is a must-win, right? You're gonna go tell we know that you lambasted the defense after last game. You're gonna tell your team this is a must-win, right? Because it's a team second bottom of the table, and you got Regensburg next week. You're gonna tell your team this is a must-win, right?" And Van Vonderen was like, "Well, we'd like to win every game. We're going to do our best if we play our best." He did not say it's a must win. And then now the reporters just kept calling him out on it. It's like, no, is this a must win or is it not? And Van Vonderen kept dancing around it. I'm like, you have to tell your team this is a must win in this situation, because if it doesn't, it sends a poor message to the team. Yes, the team should know it's a must win, but you need to make it clear that it's a must win. And it showed from the first 45 minutes that the team didn't seem like they knew this is a must-win game, or didn't act like it. And it wasn't until halftime that we saw the adjustments and a much better performance.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say from him is I think in general he probably just needs to talk less, because I feel like he's getting himself into a lot of trouble over the past 3 weeks or so, just with comments that just aren't necessary at times.
Yeah.
I mean, what the comment that Eric made in the chat just now, the first half was the most stagnant we've seen. I mean, I agree, and that's the point. It's like that was the first half performance was terrible.
Yeah.
But regarding the whether it's a must-win game or not, I wouldn't care if he was just like, no, and I'm not going to be baited into whatever media quotes you want to give me. Yep. That's fine. Take that approach, or just say like, yes, it's a team we should beat. We need to go out and beat them. That's it. But then to whiffle waffle.
Yeah.
And not go one way or the other. It's just like it's not a good message. It doesn't send a confident message. So yeah, I would have just kind of preferred one extreme. Either don't play the game or just be like, yeah, we need to win. But this I don't know, it's not quite.
You know what I think it is that he's so happy about how good his German is getting that he wants to just show it off. So he just keep talking and talking and talking. And for that, I don't blame him, I guess. So anyway, we win the game 2-1. Again, not the greatest of results, but we did get the win. Looking at the standings, and I'll pull up the table here. Boop. All right, there we go. So Hamburg and Cone still fighting out for first place, but we are in sole possession of 11th place. So we're slowly getting better, Jack. It doesn't seem like it watching week in and week out, but we got sole possession of 11th place. We're within shouting distance of top 10, with obviously game Regensburg ahead, but then the gauntlet after that. So it's a okay performance. Like I said, we got the result. We're happy because we were down to 10 men and we still got a result. So there's that, I guess. But I will get to how I think the team is, but 4 takeaways from the game, really. I thought Häkkinen was okay. He didn't look great early on, especially that goal given up. But then he made a huge save at the end of the game, really, where it could have been a tie game. It was somehow the attacker got wide open, and he made a good save there. I thought Karaman, Seguin, and Kaminsky were good. And I thought, obviously, Kaminsky gets man of the match for get that goal. Anytime he scores, he's getting man of the match. But yeah, I mean, anything else you took away from that game?
No, I think I agree. I'd probably say Seguin and Kaminsky and Karaman were the best players. I thought Eunice was very good as well. I'd put him up there.
Yeah.
Häkkinen was fine, not incredible. I don't blame him for the first goal at all.
Yeah, more defense.
Yeah, that's fine. Once again, I mean, I'm different on goalkeepers. You know how I appraise goalkeepers, so I'm fine with that performance from him. Yeah, we'll have to see how he does over the course of the remainder of the year. You could argue that there's more pressure because now he has his opportunity where before it was kind of out of his hands. You could say there's less pressure because he doesn't have someone breathing down his neck. In terms of, Lord Karras is officially out for the year definitively, so no one's threatening his place. But
Michelin?
Yeah, anyway, happy to get out of this one with the result. Hoping that we can find a way to get Scylla more consistently involved and better back to his kind of first half of the season form. I know he had a big moment, last week, kind of coming on late, but like you said, started from the top on this one and just wasn't super effective. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Now, after the game, there was some news outside of the pitch. First, I'll go with something I wasn't planning on the share, but because I did this on Friday, but I kind of want to get your take on it because I'm really curious. Dom Drexler, he has become the assistant head coach for the U17s. Even though he's been in exile in the U23s for long now, he's going to retire at the end of the season and become the assistant coach for the U17s. What are your thoughts on that?
I think having somebody that just looks aesthetically like Drexler walking around and kind of looking intimidating around teenagers will probably help whip them into shape and is probably a good thing. No, dude, Drexler was a solid player. I know that he was kind of on the later stages of his career when he joined us, and it obviously hasn't, as you said, kind of been sent down to obscurity. But no, solid player, and whenever you can kind of keep somebody in house like that, I think it speaks well to their experience, obviously, at the club and the culture that's being built. Obviously, there's some bad times, while Drexler was even here. So the fact that he's interested in staying and speaks, I think, to something. So
Yeah,
I'll choose to take it positively.
And that's great. I love hearing that. I took it more the negative side because, and I agree with everything you just said there. I took it that negative side because I was like, look, you're basically rewarding him for bad behavior. That's what it's been this year because obviously the bad behavior under Carl Gerards, and then Dr. Fimple and Van Vonder never brought him back. So something was there, and then you reward him with that. But I still also like Dom Drexler. I do agree with everything you just said because I do think it could work out. So if he's in the right headspace, and the youngsters don't watch what he did, before he retired, then we're good.
I mean, look, I'm not on the ground over there. I haven't read any articles to this effect, but it's also possible that, like, once he's been in that environment, they've actually liked what they've seen from him in that environment and in that sort of like more mentor role, and like the way he is in a different situation is worthwhile, and valuable.
That's absolutely true. That's 100% true. Okay, so we talked about Timo Becker. Great to have him back officially going into next year. But also, there's some other news potentially. It hasn't been official yet, but Florian Plattenberg, Sky Dirk, and some others are saying Andre Hoffman from Dusseldorf, their captain, might be joining on a free as well. So if we were to get both Timo Becker and Hoffman, two guys who are captain material, you just elevated the respectability and the leadership potential in this team with Karaman as well, and and Karius as well. Don't forget, say what you want about Karius, but he's been around the block. He has some experience. So at least if nothing else, Manga is making this a very intelligent team, very composed team with a lot of leadership. So if this happens, I love it.
I mean, look, like Hoffman, 32. Don't know how much he has left kind of in the tank, but like if we can squeeze a year or two out of him at the end, like you said, the experience, the leadership angle, hopefully the stability would be huge. So yeah, this would actually be another signing that I would actually be pretty happy about overall. I think it's a good fit.
And this would be a bench player, I would think, a role player more than likely, but you never know. And then the big news, I think, of the weekend for us outside of Timo Becker is we have a new sporting director, Frank Baumann. He was not at the game, so it wasn't that unveiling like we've seen so many times with the coaches. But Frank Baumann is a new guy, and so came from Werder Bremen. He was with them with relegation and promotion, and now they're stable in the Bundesliga. Thoughts on this? Because I think it could have gone a multitude of ways, and I did not expect this. I completely set the bar at the lowest it can go because I fully didn't trust anything. And then we got this, and I'm like, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think you and I are in similar boats on that. Like when this started breaking, I was like, unexpected for sure. I view this one pretty positively as well. Look, with these things, it's always tough to know because people will point to various aspects of a resume, various years, and then they'll, some people will say, oh, all the good stuff is him and all the bad stuff isn't, or vice versa. There's always multiple factors in these things. I think that is a quasi-ambitious hire, a pretty serious one, and lends us some credibility. And I think the main thing is like there's a lot of people that are kind of looking at it as like this is kind of the first like serious hire in that department in a number of years, really since things kind of went like fully south. And I agree with that. Will it work out? Who knows? Do I like it? I do. I think it's a good move.
And I think a very sneaky part of that move is that he has experience with no budget, really, like he did with Werder Bremen. They really had no money, especially when they went to the Bundesliga, Zweite Liga. So at least he's experienced in that regards, and it'll help Manga overall. So yeah, I'm optimistic about this. So.
And the thing is, even in some of the years where they weren't, I usually liked their talent though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what.
Like even if the teams weren't playing well, there were pieces of those teams that I always really liked. Like So
Marvin
I
Dukes,
think-
maybe he brings him with. I doubt it. I would say follow Felipe Sanchez season on Twitter. Has a really good thread about what he can bring to the team. For sure. So definitely check that out. And then also shout out to Alex_GE on Twitter. He had a perfect summary of all the reactions. The reactions were the broad spectrum for this because it was either you hate it or you love it and everything in between. That's really, really crazy how much people are unsure about this. So, but it's not a bad thing. At least we don't all hate it. So that's a positive there. That's much all I had. But those are one thing I wanted to say. Yes. Okay. I had some questions. I wanted to go back to Kies van Wonderen. It's obviously for us, it seems like it's been up and down and hasn't seen much improvement, I guess, by the naked eye. If I asked you with Harry Potter over the last 12 games, how would you say our form has been over the last 12 games compared to the league?
compared to the rest of the league, or like compared to
The league,
But,
yeah,
like,
the rest of the league. Fight the Liga, yeah.
Since he took over,
Yeah. From what you've seen.
I mean, not much higher than we actually are in reality. I'd say like our table record since he took over is probably like 9th.
All right. He's actually been 5th best in the league since he's taken over.
Okay.
In the last 12 games. And then since he's taken over from the beginning, 5, 6 positions. So he's been a lot better than we thought. Obviously, you got the Hamburgs and Kölns who've been really on fire second half of the season. But Schalke's 29 points in the last 19 games or 21 games. So, I mean, he's done pretty well. Doesn't look like it at times. That gauntlet at the end of the first half helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like it this past week, and that bumped us up. And as you said, sole possession of 11th place. How thrilled we are to have sole possession of 11th. I'm gonna make an album and call that the album title. It's gonna be album. The cover is gonna be a table picture with somebody having sole possession of 11th place in the table. But look, when for me, it's kind of like, what did you expect out of him, right? If your expectation when he got hired was he is a stability hire that is meant to have us avoid relegation because that's the way it was trending with Gerards, then he's done fine. He's done well. If it was like, yes, this is a panic hire, but this is also somebody that we expect could take us to the top, I don't. I mean, you can say that he's 5th best in the league in that time. I don't buy it. I don't see it. I mean. Yeah, I don't know. We were in 13th, before this weekend. We somehow BS'd our way to a 2-1 victory down a man. I don't know. I don't hate him. Don't love him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Good news also, not only we are above Hertha in the Zweite Liga table, but also U17s beat them this weekend 3-2. So there you go, all the way around. But it's a victory Monday, Jack. I got nothing else unless you got anything before we end the show here. No?
No. National championship game tonight. College basketball.
All right, we got to get out of here, right? All right, Jack, where can our followers find you across social media?
At JMMangan, JMMANGAN on X, Twitter.
And I was like, wait, what? You're changing it up on me here.
Keep on your toes.
You can follow me at R_KHARMAN. Shout out to everyone in the chat. More importantly, follow us at Schalke America all across social media. If you're not in our Discord yet, get in there. Follow us and subscribe on our YouTube page. Follow us on Twitch as well, because we start streaming it here on Friday, Saturday nights, longer, it's like 2-3 hours long. So definitely check us out there before the games come on. So other than that, we'll be back next week. Hopefully it's another Victory Monday. It is bottom of the table Regensburg. The game is another lovely Sunday morning, 7:30 my time, 6:30 Jack time in Chicagoland.
Is it a must-win, though?
It is a must-win for me. It is a must-win, and Damien Van Wonderen, you better answer the questions this time. But Anyway, for Jack, I'm Richard. We'll catch you guys next week. Look out.